Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Caroline and I am a graphic designer. And just to give some context, I am a 43 years old single woman living in Philadelphia. And the point of the channel is to show you how side projects can actually help you reach those financial goals. This is an experiment, so I'm going to try different things, but the first side hustle I want to talk about is my Etsy store. And the reason for that is because I've had it up for quite some time, and to be honest, I sort of neglected it like about a year ago. Like last year, I didn't do a lot of work on it. I did not launch a lot of new products. Interestingly enough, you can see how sales towards the end of the year went down because I wasn't giving it any love. I want to explain first of all why Etsy. So I started on Etsy mostly because they tell you it's free. You can set up your store and it will be free, but bearing in mind there's a lot of fees that comes with it. So every time you need to post a product, there will be a fee of 20 cents and processing fees. It's a free platform to set up your Etsy store, but they will be taking money away later on once you start making sales. But the reason why I started Etsy also was to test out or beta test products. I never relied on my Etsy store as a thing that would bring so much money that I can live off of it. That was never my goal. Now, some people say that, they successfully sell and it sustains their lifestyle. I mean, I can safely say that's not my case. And I'm not sure why they succeed and I don't. I think there is many reasons to this. First of all, who knows how transparent people really are, but also, I never really spend that much time or that much energy into it, which is probably why it never grew as fast as I wish it would. But I think this year my goal is to bring the money that I'm making on Etsy and to just move that up. So I'll show you some of my numbers for the past 4 years and some of my bestsellers. I'll show you my catalog really quickly, and I'll have the link in the description below so you can check out the store. But since this channel is about side income, I think it made sense for me to talk about that one side income to start with. So I'm going to show you numbers and I'm going to tell you exactly where I'm at and what I've learned so far on my Etsy store and what's coming up. So I'm also going to be pushing it further and hopefully bring it to the next level. We'll see what happens. So the products I sell the most on the website are pins, t-shirts and posters. You can see some of the products in the background here. You can see some little postcards and stuff. Like, this is not quite on sales yet. I will put them on sales eventually. You see a mug, but I'm not selling the mug on the website at this point. One thing I can show you is I sell little pins like this. That's just one of them, one of the type of pins that I'm selling. To get an idea of like the kind of stuff that I'm doing. It's very culture based. It's based off my life. I used to live in New York for 15 years, hence some of the New York stuff you see here. I fell in love with Mexico City, and that's why you see some CDMX, Mexico stuff going on there. And then, for this little guy here, I'm not necessarily like an LGBTQ person myself. If I may be really honest, I just one day started designing this on my computer and I really loved it. I saw potential in it. So I was like, oh, that could be really cute as a pin. So that really where it started, and I ended up using the LGBTQ colors because it did make sense. I am attracted to that retro style a little bit, and I found that the LGBTQ colors have a bit of that retro feel, and putting it into a heart, connecting the colors together sort of just made sense to me. And so I started selling it on my shop. So yeah, I don't want to, I'll be transparent in that channel. I'm not going to tell you made up stories. Like, that is just the truth. I just started designing this, and once I saw the result, I was like, oh, this is super cute. Like, I think some people might resonate with it. I decided to sell it on my website. Originally it was a collection. It wasn't just a heart. I also had this sort of a melted rainbow, and I was like, oh, what can I do with that? So there were posters for a while. I don't think I've put the posters on the website, but mostly just the pin. I use these as background colors for the product. And yeah, I was just playing with stuff, trying stuff out, and that's sort of what made sense. So that's, one of my products. You can see some of the other stuff behind me. I was trying a cap because I love caps. And I was like, oh, well, could be cool with, again, that little guy up here. In the end, I decided not to put that on sale yet. So anyway, this is just to show you some of the products, and I'm also posting here on the channel, like you can see here in the video, some of the other products. The posters here are digital products. You buy them and then you get a digital file, which is either PNG or JPEG, and then you can print it on whatever paper you want. It comes in 5 different sizes, and it's just part of the same folder. So you have 5 sizes into the downloadable folder, and you can just choose whichever size that you want, and then you can go and print it yourself. The plan is to grow my catalog as I'm living in different places, discovering new places through travels. I will just be building my catalog. It's a slow growth. I'm not like a production machine. I'm not like putting 10 new products every month, because I all want them to mean something to me. They all have to make sense to me. They all have to speak to me, so that then if they speak to me, I feel like, okay, maybe they can speak to someone out there. That's why it's not a big production. Hopefully, it's cute and it has that like quiet kind of coolness to it, and people will, resonate with what I'm doing. The shop has existed since 2022. At first, I was selling something very different, much more handmade, and I decided to move away from that, which maybe was a bad decision. Ultimately, I pivoted to a different catalog of products. In terms of the profit I'm making on the site, I'm going to show you some numbers. One thing I didn't mention is why Etsy. As I said, it was for beta research, but also because it comes with an audience. It's a pre-built audience. I could have my own website, but it would mean that I need to build my audience from scratch. And yes, that's what I would want to do, and that's what I will end up doing eventually. But at this point, sales aren't high enough where I'm like confident that it would make sense to do this. I would want to do it for the main reason why I would want to do it is to collect email addresses and being able to retarget my customers. Being on Etsy, you cannot really do that. You don't have access to customers' email addresses. It's not a very good CRM system. You get data on sales and the product you sold and like all that stuff, but you cannot really get information on your customers and your demographics and who they are and all that stuff. So, I guess that's the pros and the cons of being on Etsy. It comes with a pre-built audience. You can do, Etsy ads, which will definitely push probably sales, and people will find your products more easily, but you're not collecting data from your customers. You cannot retarget later. You're not really building a brand per se, because ultimately if someone asks them like, where did you buy this product, people will be like, oh, I bought it on Etsy, but they're not going to say that they bought it on like Merch Paper Co., which is the name of my website. So something to keep in mind. But as of now, I think I'm still okay with that. And for 2026, the goal I'm trying to set is to actually increase my sales. That's the first thing. And in an ideal world, I would want to increase my sales to, maybe a $500 a month, but that is a huge jump from where I'm at right now. I'm going to show you now my net profit, how much I made every year. These are net profit. That means you can take that without the Etsy fees or Etsy charges, and that's without the production cost. So that's also remove any production cost. So that really is my net profit. My numbers are so small that they don't really tax those numbers. So those numbers are actually numbers that I'm bringing home. And let's look at the net profit since 2022. In 2022, net profit was $549.67. My net profit for 2023 is $333.05. My net profit for 2024 is $1,861. And the reason for that is I remember that year I started back in January or February with a really big order. Someone ordered like, I don't remember, but a ton of my keychains, and it was for a total of $725. So that set the shop for success for 2024. I did not have a similar experience in 2025, because in 2025 I made $959.92. So it went back down quite a lot in 2025. That's a total of $3,703 for the 4 years I have been active on Etsy, which is a yearly average of $925.91 per year. And what that means is over the 4 years, my average monthly income is $77. It's not a ton. It's definitely not anything that's life-changing. But that's also one of the reasons why I want to increase it. I need to put more products up. And, I'm going to be looking at doing a bit more campaigns on Etsy. I have to say, I've been able to take that money and invest it, even though it may not seem like a lot. It's still, it's still some money. And in some cases, actually, I was able to use those gains to, round up my months, which helped. I think it's a great starting point. It gives me a good idea of what's selling and what's not really selling. And so that's the next thing that I'm going to talk to you about. So in 2025, so that was last year, my top sellers were the rainbow heart pin. So basically like what I was showing you here. The rainbow heart patch. Let me show you that little guy. So that's this here. And then it's the heart keychain. So it's basically the same thing as this, but it's a keychain. So these are my top bestsellers. I sold 147 rainbow heart pins. I think that's a good number. I sold 18 patches. So that guy. And then I sold 5 keychain, which is not that much. And so in terms of my top sellers, in terms of collection, obviously it's my rainbow collection, that's the best seller. And then it's my in retrospect collection, which are the Slinky posters, the Rubik's Cube posters, the more like retro vibe, sort of mostly digital posters. I didn't sell too many of those in 2025, but I actually did sell quite a lot of those back in 2022 and 2023. And then the third top collection was my CDMX Papel Picado. So what that is these guys over here. So these, at this point, I'm selling mostly as t-shirts, like that grayish t-shirt, and that t-shirt has been selling quite well. This year not as much, but last year it sold quite a bit. That would rank number 3 in the collection that sells on my Etsy store. The idea is to increase my sales. Ideally, I would be making $500 a month with my Etsy store, which I am so far from that is not even like, I'm not even certain that can be called a realistic goal. But if I could push it to $200 a month, that would be amazing. That would be a $2,400 net income, which I'd be really, really grateful and very satisfied with. But it is a big goal in itself. So this is really just, I'm putting that into the universe without knowing what's going to come out of it. So the one thing I noticed through all of this is that, why does this sell more than any other, product that I have? I think it's because of a seasonality to it. And what I mean by seasonality is not because it's spring or summer, but the time where I sell those are May, June, mostly. And then I sell some of them again in December for Christmas. But I sell those the couple of months prior to Pride months and during Pride months. So I'm making most of my net profit because it's my bestseller. I'm making most of my net profit in the first half of the year. Then it really slows down quite drastically. If you look, in January, 193 on average, February 221, March 819, that's probably when I had the very big order in 2024. Then 478 in April, 444 in May, and then June, Pride months, 701.65. And then you can see it just goes down. So July is usually pretty low, August pretty low, September, whatever. And then it goes back up a bit in October, November, December. And again, the reason for this, I think, is because Christmas is coming and people are like, oh, that could be a cute gift. My strategy this year is bringing more products with seasonality to them or some sort of a meaning, so that, you know, first of all, it works really well with keywords on Etsy. So there isn't an occasion to buy this, right? There is an occasion, there's Pride months coming up, people want to put their LGBTQ pride on, and that makes total sense. And I think the way I can increase my sales over time is by having more of those seasonal events-based products. So what I'm gonna come up with this year, first of all, is this product, and you can see it on the screen. And the reason why I think that might work is because, first of all, well, it's a heart dog, and then also I'm using some nice like red colors, and that's gonna be a variation of my heart pin, and that's for Valentine's Day. I'm currently working with my provider to get them produced, and hopefully get them by the end of this month. Am I late? Yes, I am late, because I wish I could put them up on the website right away. And the reason for that is because it takes time to rank up. And though I will be running Etsy ads for them, I'm afraid I'm gonna be a little bit behind in the whole like year goal for it. I'm still gonna do it no matter what. Like, I'm still gonna put them up as soon as I get them. But I'm definitely a little bit behind. Unfortunately, you know, the end of last year was crazy. I just didn't have time to focus on this. And this is me just now, today, really going back with it. So I will be a bit behind with that. So I might not see huge results with it, because, you know, for the time for it to rank up with SEO and Etsy to pick it up from an organic standpoint, like, yes, I will be running ads on it. But will it be sufficient for this year? I'm not sure. So I'll be selling this guy, but in the red color, for my Valentine's products. And then I'll also be doing a patch. It will be smaller than this one. I find this one cute, but maybe on the big side. And it will be the same. It will be the Valentine's red colors, similar as the pin that you're seeing on the screen right now, but as a patch. And these are the two products I'm gonna put up in February, well, at the end of January, or as soon as I get them. I might put them up as pre-order and see what happens. I actually never done that, and I'm just brainstorming as I'm talking to you right now. So I might just try them and put them as pre-order, and then as soon as I have them, see if that does anything. I might try that. I'll let you know my final decision on that in my next video and how it's working out. I did that retro collection, and some of the product that came out of that retro collection is that little guy over here. So that's, again, that's a pin, but it's a little eye pin. I started selling this on the website. I sold 3 of them so far. And then for Valentine's, from that retro collection, I also made these like little lip kisses sort of pins, and I think maybe they could work for Valentine's. You know, it's like a kiss, you know, like XOXO. So I'm wondering if I might also put them for Valentine's, especially because I'm a little behind on the whole like heart idea. And I think maybe these could work quite well as well. So I'm thinking maybe I'll try those. These are my ideas for the beginning of the year, bringing more seasonality to the shop and hopefully more sales. These can sell for Valentine's. I think they can also sell in other circumstances. So I'm definitely gonna try and do that. That's my strategy for the beginning of the year. Let's see where the rest goes. So what's coming next? The idea of this channel is the first video of the month is about my strategy, product launches, any sort of other side income that I'm working on. And there are other side income that I'm working on, and I will definitely talk about them, but in the next video, because this is already a long video and I really wanted to focus on this just for now. But then the following video, the video at the end of the month, is going to be about the results. Did I make any sales? Did I see any increase in sales? So I'll give you a rundown of the results of my strategies. Whatever sale I made, I'll add them into my financial plan for 2026. I don't expect it to be a lot. You know, again, I just want to be very clear that this channel is not about like a fast success, and it's not about, oh, you know, I'm gonna make hundreds and thousands of sales. It's not my experience. I want it to be authentic. I don't want it to be an affiliate program, kind of like hard sales, stuff like that. That's just not what it's about. That really just is me having fun with, you know, my art, like what I enjoy doing with graphic design, and putting my products out there, making my customers happy, but keeping the authenticity of it, I think really matters to me at this point. Is it a big money maker? No, it won't be a big money maker, but hopefully I can increase it up to a point where it's like, okay, this is a nice little extra income that I can actually, you know, either save into a high yield savings account or actually put towards my investment. And again, this channel is really to show you how even with small side income, you can reach those financial goals that you set yourself up for the year. And I do have big goals for 2026. So any money that I'll make through my store and other of those like side income ideas, it will go towards my investment for 2026. If you haven't watched my first videos, to get a better idea of what I'm going to do and what I'm going to be talking about and what I'm going to be showing you through the year, I'm going to put a link, or there will be a video showing up in the last screen, and definitely feel free to watch these videos. I'm going more in depth into the whole idea and what I'm trying to do with this channel. And yeah, in the meantime, you know, I wish you again a very, very happy new year, and I hope the coming back to 2026 wasn't too brutal. 2026 has been quite brutal on many different levels, even, you know, in the news or whatever, but let's cross our fingers and hope for a better rest of the year. In the meantime, I wish you a good rest of your months, and I'll be catching you at the end of the month, and hope you'll be joining me in the journey. All right, have a good day, guys. Bye.